Hey guys, it's Presley, and today I'm going to be talking about comparison. A student in AP Psychology, a junior in high school, and I feel inspired to talk about some things that I think a lot of people my age deal with, specifically girls, and then I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to bring in some stuff from AP Psychology, and yeah. So, comparison. I think comparison is something that humans have always done. It's unavoidable and instinctual. There's this thing we learned in AP Psychology. It's called survival of the fittest. Inherently, humans will compare themselves to others because back in cave days, you needed to survive. It was comparing, oh, can I win that food over this stronger person? It's a survival instinct. But today we obviously don't need it to survive. However, we still have that instinctive drift, which is really hard to combat due to social media. And everyone on social media, it's important to remember that it's a highlight reel and it's not their day-to-day life. And I don't think by any means you should negatively view somebody's social media and be like, oh, you know what, they're not even posting their real life. It's not really anyone's obligation to be real on social media. It's their own social media. And why should someone have to share every aspect of their life? So yeah, social media cannot be perfect. It can't be perfect in a sense that you can't show absolutely everything, but it also can't be perfect. A perfect view into one's life is not through social media. I share a lot on social media, but it definitely isn't the hard nights. It's all of the best things. It's the highlight reel. So keep in mind, social media is a highlight reel. It is everyone's best days. Sometimes it's the worst days. Sometimes people are real. And maybe if it's somebody crying on social media, it is a good picture of them crying where they don't really look that bad. It's just like cute. And then it makes you think, wow, you look like that crying? I do not. But you just don't post the same things. I think comparison is healthy in a sense that it helps people grow. For me, I would compare myself to people in leadership positions that I wanted, and I would be like, okay, what do they have that I don't have? I would work on that within myself, and then I would try and be the same as them so that I could potentially get the same job. Like, I ran for ASB president, and I won. So I'm going to be my next year's ASB president, and I would constantly think, okay, what does the current ASB president do that I don't think I do? Like, I'm a big procrastinator. I am a very type B person. I'm not super organized, but I do have successes. And every time it comes down to it, I get it done. It sounds bad, but I'm more of a do it all the night before. And I always kind of wish that I gave myself more time, but like, I just am not like that. So it's very easy to compare myself to people like that. As a type B person, I don't necessarily wish I was a type A person. I think there's a lot of different types of people. When it comes down to it, I'm always like, okay, I wish I gave myself more time. Comparison is healthy. It's how people grow. It's how self-improvement comes about. Without self-comparison, we might have a false sense of self-concept, thinking that we're perfect, and nobody is perfect except the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And if we didn't have comparison in our lives, then how would I look at maybe if I wanted to lose weight and I couldn't look at somebody that I wanted to look like and be like, okay, what do I need to do to make myself healthier? For example, what if I wanted to live a healthier lifestyle? It would be harder, at least for me, to start to live that healthier lifestyle if I didn't have somebody to compare it to and to understand what is healthy. And of course, that goes for anybody. But for example, if I didn't compare my messy room at all to my friend's clean room, I probably wouldn't want to clean my room because there would just be nothing to compare it to. So obviously, comparison comes in very healthy forms. And we need to value it, but not let it take over our lives. And some ways it has taken over my life personally is through, it's just weird because it becomes something where it's not just comparison of outfits, hair, or makeup to me, or success. It's honestly comparison of appearance entirely. I think it's so easy for young impressionable girls to pick the new it girl on TikTok. Honestly, I just hate saying this because all of these it girls are beautiful. They don't deserve to be diminished because people are comparing themselves to them and then now they're canceled because they're upholding like unrealistic standards. Let them be themselves. Like, why do we have to bring them down to bring ourselves up? And that's exactly what I want to talk about today, is that in order to get over comparison, we can't lean to, I'm going to block them and I'm going to make fun of them and I'm not going to be happy with them and I'm going to talk bad about them because it makes myself feel better. That is an insufficient solution and it's not going to last. And I think that genuinely, like I've said, I'm not over comparison in any way, shape, or form. I'm not even close. But something that I've been against doing is like unfollowing girls that make me feel worse about myself. And if this works for you and it really does help, by all means. I just don't feel for me that it would help. I would almost feel like I'm just hiding it. And it's because I've hidden them that it makes myself feel better. I want to really come at it from a perspective of, okay, let me really appreciate them and their beauty inside and out. I will begin to love myself. It takes a lot of maturing to realize that they can be beautiful on their own without having to be beautiful or without having to diminish my beauty. So that's what I've been working on lately. I have taken a lot of advice on, just unfollow them. Unfollow all the accounts that make you feel less than. As much as if that helps for some people, of course, by all means. But I don't think, if I were to give advice to someone, it would be to not go that route. It would be to let yourself see them. And you can really combat comparison for the long run. It'll be long lasting if you grow to just appreciate them without comparison. Appreciate these people on social media without comparison. And that takes a lot of work, but I don't think you can ever just hide someone for the rest of your life. You unfollow these 20 accounts. What happens when you see a beautiful person walking in real life? You obviously can't just block them and unfollow and never see them again. I encourage appreciating the beauty that you're comparing yourself to and maybe using it as, okay, they seem like they're in their full element of themselves. Like, I want to be in my full element. Another thing is that I think it is so easy for young girls, because as we've learned in AV psychology, our prefrontal cortex is not yet developed whatsoever, and it won't be till about like 25. It's easy to make immature judgments on something that is realistic or perfect. It's especially hard for young girls in this day and age with all of the like comparison on social media or even competition between other girls for a guy. I think it's so easy to compare one another. And in my experience, I found myself comparing myself to a girl I was competing with over a boy. And that just, it sounds silly for it even to come out of my mouth. That, like, why? Like, this boy isn't even mine if I have to compare myself to somebody else. I think it's important for teenage girls to realize, and of course myself, that whoever the other girl is in this situation, befriend her. Do not see her as the enemy. It's honestly inevitable to just compare yourself to the competition as we instinctively do. Survival of the fittest. Just remember that she's probably doing the exact same thing and comparing herself to you because there's so much competition here over a boy. And then another thing that girls just do because of social media is comparing themselves to people they see online. Social media is a highlight reel. It is not their real life. I would disagree if somebody said this to me, but I feel like I don't look like what I look like on social media in real life. Wait, I feel like I don't look like what I look like on social media in real life. Yeah, that makes sense. Because on social media, my hair is usually how I want it. Like, it was a good makeup day. I probably have a cute outfit on if I'm wanting to post it. And that's not every day for me, nor is it every day for literally nobody else. So why expect that to be the expectation for you every day? I get ready to go to school a lot, but my makeup's not how I'd want it to be if I was posting on social media, or my outfit's probably not what I would post on social media, nor is my hair. It's so unrealistic. So social media is a highlight reel. So why compare when you obviously know? Another thing I want to talk about is comparison of your relationship to somebody else's relationship. Social media plays a role in this again in saying social media is a highlight reel. What other couples post on social media is literally a fraction of what their actual relationship is. I've known so many couples who seem like they're just soulmates over social media. You don't know everything. They obviously weren't displaying the issues they had online, because who would display those issues online? Most people don't want to. There are real situations where it genuinely isn't, like, there isn't problems, and the social media is a good reflection of their relationship. And you know what? Good for them. But just remember, don't get too hard on your significant other because, oh, he on social media did this. Or sometimes I would send TikToks to my boyfriend and I'd be like, he did this. Not in any like malicious way, but I'd be like, oh, look how cute this is. And that is something that will ruin a relationship. Not saying my relationship is ruined right now, but it's something that you and whoever you're with should voice to each other. How do you feel about me sending cute ideas for something the boyfriend does? And as a friend who is prone to giving advice, it's important to remember that you don't know everything about their relationship. You can't recall the times where the boy or the girl was being really sweet. You most likely just know about all the negative times that your friend is confiding you in. And it's important to weigh both sides and understand that you don't know everything, even though it seems like you could. You don't know or understand those emotional moments. Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent, but I kind of want to do an episode talking about that a little bit more. The moral of that segment is to not compare yourself to other relationships. If you want something more out of whoever you're with, just tell them. I love having an in-person, honest conversation because text can be very misconstrued. Comparison can also be found through things like academics or your ranges of success. This is not something that I thought I would struggle with. I'm currently a junior right now, and I've never felt more academic pressure or comparison before. As I'm trying to decide where I'm going to apply, I feel like I can't really say, I want to go to BYU. As much as that's an amazing school, is it going to seem like I'm not that smart because it has a higher acceptance rate? But I want to look smart. Should I say I'm going to apply here? If I say I'm going to apply to USC or somewhere with a very low acceptance rate, am I just going to seem dumb when I don't get in or don't go there? There's so many different things that people, especially in these years, feel defined by where they get into school, if they're going to school or what their future life is going to be. People inherently will compare themselves because of just the instincts of survival. Like, people want to feel like they're the most dominant at the top of the food chain, and comparison is inevitable with that. It's funny how it's advanced in society, and now it's not just off of if I live or die, it's if oh, I have a 4.37 and she has a 4.4, so I need to be better. I'm terrible. If you're genuinely putting in all of your effort and you're getting good grades or just reaching your goals, you're killing it. Like, a lot of people lack that. A lot of people lack that motivation to put in all of the work, and that is something that a lot of people would be jealous of. Personally, I know I've struggled because my mom never put me in sports. I was always in acting classes, like singing voice lessons, and my mom would drive me out to LA every weekend, and that was my life. I didn't play any sports. I remember in 6th grade, all of these girls wanted to join the soccer club, and I was like, let me join. I realized I'm so unathletic, and I didn't even know how to kick a soccer ball properly. I couldn't even run normal. I remember getting made fun of because I ran weird. And that's when it started. When it was like, okay, I need to be more athletic. I obviously could work to be athletic, but how much do I really want to go and play soccer when it has never been my goal in life? Cheer is the most athletic thing I've ever done. As long as I've done that and reached that goal, I'm good. It took me until this year to be comfortable with just doing cheer, because at my school there's such a pressure of how many sports do you play? Are you a tri-sport athlete? Do you play 3 sports? Oh, you only play 1, so wow, you're fat. No, nobody would say that, but it was just a spiral of, okay, I only play 1 sport. Oh my gosh, I can't look like this and only play 1 sport, or else I'm gonna look like a couch potato, unathletic and big. It's just all of these things that nobody else really even cares. Do you think I even know how many sports the most athletic person plays? I don't look at any of the football players on the football team and I'm like, oh, they only play football. I just see them as an athlete. I need to realize that nobody else cares about me. Even though you are the main character in your life, in your show, you are a side character to literally everyone else and non-existent to the rest of the world who doesn't know you. So, to be blunt, that mindset has helped me so much because it helps me realize, okay, wow, just because I don't play 3 sports, nobody notices, and do I even want to do that anyways? What sports am I interested in? Would I be good and would I be in my element? When you try to change yourself to be something you're not, it just does not work out. For me, I've been dyeing my hair blonde and my hair is breaking off. It is not good. And it's not, obviously blonde, this bright a blonde is not who I am. I'm doing it right now because in my underdeveloped prefrontal cortex, I think that it makes me look better. Here we are at that. We'll come back in 10 years and see how much I've developed and see if I've let my natural hair grow, because it's definitely not this level blonde. It's light, but not this light. Anyways, people at school that see me, they're going to be like, oh, so she dyed her hair blonde because she hates herself. No. I think it looks better right now, and I think I'll look back and be like, okay, I think your natural is a little bit better, but whatever. Moral. Basically, comparison is not solely looks. It's literally anything, and if you find something and you start comparing yourself, you will go crazy over it, because you can find anything and be like, oh, wow, that person's left toe is so much better than mine. It's insane how the brain works off that instinctive drive. Just remember that if you are trying your best and putting in your all, that's all that matters. If you're fulfilling your own goals, you are in a better position than a lot of people. Why try and go for something that isn't something you're passionate about just because you feel like you have to, or you feel like you're gonna be more socially accepted, when in reality, nobody notices. My sophomore year, I thought that I had to do another sport. I feel like I have to do something else. I feel like cheer isn't enough. Making varsity cheer was literally my goal, and I made that. So why did I feel like I still had to do something more? When I was already so busy, it's very interesting how the mind works. I went to a track preseason workout prior to tryouts, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run track. I hate running. I literally hate running, and I'm so bad at it. And my mile time is 8 minutes. I'm not saying you need to be super fast to start track, but I genuinely had no interest in it besides appeasing to what I thought people would think is cooler or more well-rounded. And I was so miserable that whole time. I literally didn't go back. And that's when I realized that, Okay, let me list out all of the things that I do. And this is all enough. Like, I get all A's. I do well on exams because of the time I spend on it. And if I did track something that would be so emotionally draining because I don't want to actually do it, I'm just doing it as an extrinsic motivation, I would literally be drained. Like, I wouldn't even have time to, or the emotional energy to put it into the studying that I do for tests. Where was I going with that? Oh, that's right. I get good grades. I do well on tests. I'm taking AP classes. I am in ASB. I'm a cheerleader. I'm Miss Team Poway. All of these things, like, that is all enough, and that those are all things that fill my cup. If I'm going to go and do something like take this other class that I'm not interested just because it's an AP, or play this sport that I'm not interested in just because I think it'll make me look more athletic or more well-rounded, or I think a boy's gonna like it. Oh my gosh, that really hurt. I think a boy's gonna like it if I play it. Like, whose cup am I filling? Everybody else's, and not my own. So you're just gonna be drained from that. Nobody is gonna notice all the energy you're putting into it because everybody's focused on their own lives. And more often than not, they're also putting everything into the society's cup standard. I hope you guys are getting this, but everybody else is so focused on putting their energy and efforts into impressing society. Few people are actually fulfilling their own needs in their own cup. So, yeah, moral of that story. All right, aside from academic and extracurricular / athletic pressures, I do want to say one more thing about that. As far as academic pressures, there's such a big pressure of being involved in all these things. And of course, if you have the drive and you want to, go and do it because it is worth it. Like, you can say, I was in National Honor Society, I took all these APs, CFS, yeah. And all of those things are so good, but like, just remember what you're doing it for. Of course, healthy competition is good. If I wasn't competing with the kids in my class for a better vocab test score, maybe I wouldn't get the good scores I get because I wouldn't feel motivated. Think of it as healthy competition. If a kid in your class is getting good scores, so make it a point to be like, okay, I'm going to study so I can get a better score than them. And okay, that sounds bad, but it helps. I've done it myself. I've seen others as competition in a friendly way. Comparison doesn't just come in friendships, academics, athletics, relationships, or yourself versus somebody else you don't even know. It can also come through friendships, and sometimes you may feel like, okay, am I as cool as my best friend's other friends? Am I enough for them? Am I fun to be around? At a young adolescent age, it's so easy to feel insecure about yourself. I always remember my mom telling me everyone in middle school is just trying to figure out who they are and who they're gonna be, and they don't even know themselves yet, so a lot of people are gonna be mean. Not that I experienced super mean people, but I found myself like, I would have a best friend, and they would have this other close friend. This other close friend is really pretty. I feel like they do things that I don't do and that didn't align with my standards. They would do things that I would never do, but I felt this comparison. Do I need to do that to keep my best friend's attention? Do I need to smoke because your other friends are doing that? Do you feel like you're bored around me? There's so many questions that would go through my head, especially in middle school. And not that I ever did any of this, but like, this was a thing, like, and I'm sure there's so many other middle school girls out there that feel the same way, that they need to be cool, when in reality, they're gonna realize these things are not cool. Not at all. If you do those things now that are not good for you, how cool are you? Comparison can come in so many different forms, and at a young age, it's not going to be completely solved, which I hate to say because this is supposed to help, but it's not going to be solved because their frontal cortex isn't even developed. Like, how are they supposed to make rational decisions? But I'm hoping if anybody sees this and they're struggling with it, just remember those things are not cool. Your best friends, other friends that do that stuff, you are their friend for a reason, and they like hanging out with you for a reason. Maybe it's because you're different than these other girls who decide to do those things. How much fun is your best friend really having with the girls that do bad things? It may seem like it, but I think inside, and I've learned this personally, they enjoy being with you better because you have a more pure glow. And I think for me, I always was the friend that didn't do the same stuff as other girls who were experimenting with things. I always felt like, am I not as cool as those other girls? I didn't feel like I needed to do those other things to be cool. But I was like, I just don't think girls think I'm cool because I don't do that. I was complacent with it, but at the same time, I would compare myself, my actions, everything. If you were struggling with this, remember that they're your friend because of you. So do not change yourself to be like someone you think they will like because they like you because of you. So let's talk about the logistics of comparison and what it can do to you. In AP psychology, we have learned that comparison can lead to higher levels of anxiety, depression, severe or not severe, or episodes of depression. It can also leave you feeling isolated, confused, losing your sense of self because you're chasing something unattainable because you can only be yourself. If you are struggling with comparison in any way, I encourage you to write down 3 things that you like about yourself. And I'm not going to say every day because I don't think if I listen to this, I wouldn't do it every day because I just forget about things like that. But whenever you remember, write down 3 things about yourself that you like. And then maybe 3 goals that you have that are intrinsic. Okay. An intrinsic motivation is a motivation that you are motivated because you are reaching for a goal that will fulfill a goal for you. Oh my gosh, that was so poorly said. Okay. An intrinsic goal is a goal that you have for yourself to reach this goal that you want. It's very inside, like what you really want. So for example, I've planned to work out every day because I want to be healthier. That's an intrinsic motivation. I have the intrinsic motivation to work out for me. And then there's something called an extrinsic motivation, and that is doing something that will reach an external goal. So if that is doing something like cutting my hair, not because I want to cut my hair, but I'm hoping that it will make this boy like me, which is an external factor. So the boy is the external factor, cutting the hair is the intrinsic motivation for the boy to like you, if that makes sense. We know, extrinsic, that's something to think about. Write down goals that are intrinsic for you, for something that you want to change in a good, positive way. And you're not going to say, I want to change my nose and save up for a nose job, because not something like that. Something where it makes you, how you are right now, better. All right, to wrap it up, I want to encourage you that next time you feel like you're comparing yourself to someone, because I'm not going to sit here and say, don't compare yourself to anybody else. I'm going to compare myself to somebody in any way. It's just inevitable. It is nature versus nurture, natural instinct. It is Darwinism. I'm not going to sit here and say that you can just get rid of comparison from watching this, but the next time you feel that comparison, I encourage you to look at that person, this athlete that you want to perform like, this person in your class that you want to get test scores like, this person on Instagram that you want to look like. Remember that they're amazing, and so are you. You guys are both amazing. You guys can be amazing at the same time, and you can celebrate others without putting yourself down. You should be able to celebrate yourself without putting others down. I hope you liked this. This is my first one, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.